Good afternoon. On this last Sunday of Black History, just a few words about our Black history. As you look at the Sankofa bird in front of the altar, it has become an adopted symbol of the African American culture. Its meaning is to retrieve, to go back and get. You see the bird's body and his feet are facing toward the future, while his head is turned all the way back, looking at the past. It represents the need to reflect on our past, that we may have a better future. So you might say, what do our ancestors have to go back and get or go back and retrieve? Their education? They weren't able to get an education. Their land, their property? They weren't allowed to own property. To get their rights, they had no rights. There's an old saying that if you don't know where you're going, or you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going. So you might say, what can we go back and retrieve or go back and get from our ancestors? I tell you today, it's quite a bit. Let's start by going back and getting their faith in God. That's what got them through all the pain and suffering. Our ancestor was introduced to Christianity way back in the early 1600s. So they had religion. Matter of fact, they sang about it. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It's good enough for me. Now, their favorite story in the Bible was when God sent Moses to free the Israelites from bondage. They knew. In their faith, they knew that God was going to send them a Moses too. And he sent them Harriet Tubman, who established the Underground Railroad and brought many slaves to freedom. Now, let's go back and get their determination. The old slaves, they worked in the fields from sunup to sundown, and they would sing. They would sing because they were determined not to let their old slave master break their spirit. They sang this old Negro spiritual. I got shoes, you got shoes, all of God's children got shoes. Just the idea of an old hand-me-down pair of shoes made them happy enough to sing and thank God for them. So now let's go back. Let's go back and get their adaptability. Let's go back and get that. They had to work the fields. And the old dilapidated tools that the slave masters gave them was so rugged, it made they work so hard, so they decided they would invent their own tools. So if you would go to Lowe's today, most of the hand tools that you see there are just a new and improved version of the tools that our ancestors invented. Now let's go back and get how they dealt with pain and suffering. When you would see your children sold off to other plantations, not knowing if you would ever see them again. Seeing your family members and your husband beaten so bad that their backs looked like raw meat. Seeing runaway slaves and rebellious slaves hanging from the trees. What could they do? They couldn't fight back. So they had to sing. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. That's how they dealt with pain. Singing was a way of retaining spiritual medicine, an anesthetic, you can't pronounce it, but anesthetic. It would cause to stop the pain, that the pain wouldn't consume their whole body all the way to the depths of their souls. So that's what they did, they sang. The song that our choir sang this morning, There's a Balm in Gilead, The old Israelites sang that song. It was handed down to the slaves. The Israelites, they sang that song as a spiritual medicine, thinking it would heal Israel. That's what our ancestors did. They were singing for a healing. Now let's go back and get their hope. Hoping for freedom. Would it be this week, this year, or maybe next year? Hoping for 400 years, yet still singing. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus. Hoping for a brighter day. Hoping to taste freedom on the grounds that they were standing on. That hope has been handed down to us. And we give reverence to our ancestors today for their faith in God, for their determination not to let the old slave masters break their spirit, for their adaptability to be able to handle any situation that was placed in front of them, for their pain and suffering, singing from the depths of their souls for healing. Hope. This hope has been handed down to us, hoping that we will never see a George Floyd murder again, or Ahmaud Arbery murdered. We're hoping. We're still hoping. Yet what song shall we sing? I don't know. But we're still hoping. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Victor Baham. I think it deserves a big round of applause. Let's give it up for Victor. Thank you. For your words of inspiration and motivation, and just giving us a gist of what our ancestors were to us and what they mean to us and what the history means to us. So, Victor, thank you so much for, again, your words of inspiration, motivation, and encouragement to this generation and to us. So once again, let's give it up for Victor. Thank you.